Talking about the politics of Canada, especially Ontario. I am Peter Beimers, two-time candidate for the New Blue Party of Ontario. Let's get to it. Today we're going to look at the past to predict the future because of what is going on in the present. As many of you know, Bill C9 is now being talked about in the House of Commons in Ottawa. And let's make no mistake about it, Bill C9 does aim to silence Christians and censoring parts of the Bible. Now, MP Sean Fraser was the one who wrote and introduced the bill. However, it seems to be that Mark Miller, the MP, Mark Miller, is the one who's kind of carrying the torch for this bill. He's speaking openly about censoring and criminalizing parts of the Bible. What this bill does is really it is codifying a new definition of hate. It's broadening its definition and it's making it much more subjective to whoever wants to define what hate is to that person. There's further removing an objective standard to what hate is and making it much more subjective. For example, it's looking more this bill is going, if it passes, is going to make us look more like what's going on in England, where somebody can have the police knocking on your door simply for what they call a mean social media post. It hurts somebody's feelings. They read something on Twitter, now X, I guess, whatever you want to call it, or they watched something on YouTube, or saw something posted on Facebook. It hurt their feelings. They took this as an attack, an action of hate, and called the police, and now the police are knocking on your doors. Make no mistake, this is what this bill, and I'll say it again, make no mistake, this is what this bill will lead to. They say words are violence, but no, words are not violent. Actions are violent. Violent actions are violence. The Liberals, as one MP said in the House the other day, the Liberals only want to get tough on thought rather than actions. Look at the number of churches that have been burned in recent years, well over 100. Jewish synagogues and schools are firebombed, yet this gets very little attention. In fact, former Liberal Prime Minister said, this is understandable. Recently, we even had a pastor arrested for not apologizing for protesting a drag queen story hour. In other words, Liberals are okay with you protesting as long as it agrees with their ideals. This is an attack on Christians in Canada. Now, they'll say it is for all people, regardless of religious groups, regardless of religious affiliation, but I don't buy that for 1 second, and neither should you. And here's why. Past actions. One person once said, the best predictor of future action is past action. Remember the COVID days of 2020 to 2022. Churches were closed, and just Christian churches. Now, there were Jewish synagogues that were open. Islamic temples certainly got zero attention. They met. And I'm sure Hindu and Buddhist shrines were largely left alone for those who were gathered to worship their religion. It was the Christian churches that was the focus of the government. Now, my question now is mainly to those pastors, those elders, those members of churches who willingly, enthusiastically closed their churches on government orders and quickly insist that they would do it again, that they have no regrets of their past actions of listening to the government. And they cite Romans 13, out of context, of course, as their reason for listening to the government and closing their churches and quickly to do it again. My question to you directly, and I want you to write your answers in the comments. If Bill C9 passes, becomes law, and the government now censors the Bible in your pews, and as a result controls what can and cannot be preached from your pulpit, will you comply? After all, Romans 13, right? Government must be listened to in all things, as you told me in 2020 and through 22. They must be listened in all things, right? How about now with Bill C9? You have opened the door for this to happen because you willingly closed your churches, and now the government is taking further action against Christian churches. If your past actions are any barometer of your future actions if Bill C-9 were to become law. I believe and I fear many of you will comply concerning government orders, censoring the Bible in your pews. So what can we all do now? Certainly, if you have an MP, a Liberal, or an NDP in your riding, contact them to tell them that Bill C-9 is not only overtly redundant and for the most part unnecessary, but the newish parts that are in there expand the definition of hate to further subjectiveness, opens up to so much censorship that even thought and belief become criminal. As well, it opens the doors to further attacks on Christianity in Canada and here in Ontario and here in Oxford. Most of all of us, if you're a praying person, we can pray. Pray that the Holy Spirit would open the eyes, the hearts, and the minds of the MPs in the House of Commons to the nonsense that Bill C-9 is and just scrap it all together. Well, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you like what you hear, share with your friends, like, and subscribe for when new videos are posted every Monday night. If you made it this far, it's now time for the quick baseball take. You know that on Sunday night, what was used to be called the Veterans Committee, I think it's called something else now, but they're deciding, casting vote on who goes into the Hall of Fame. And there are 8 players on the ballot. Every person in the room gets 3 votes. And if I was in that room, my 3 votes, 2 are for certain, Delgado and Dale Murphy. And I'm kind of torn between my 3rd vote going to either Jeff Kent or Don Mattingly. Who would you vote for? Put it in the comments below.